actual insane person. He was my neighbor for a long time.
How does he drop the mic? Does he just like shove it down? They're usually attached.
He
just hits it.
You just tap it.
Let me tell you something, folks. Check boobs.
Another favorite of mine that's so enjoyable
How about
to
people
watch.
hitting themselves in the head with the mic?
That is for a bit,
fantastic.
like getting hit in the head. It's always funny because it makes a much bigger clunk than how it feels.
But it hurts.
No, but
But
just your
fucking Todd Glass
forehead.
did that to a lady in the front row one time. An old lady hit her with the microphone to make that noise, but
she okay
hit her a
with
little
it?
too hard. She was not. I don't think she was unhappy with it, but the whole crowd was like, "I can't fucking believe he just hit a 70-year-old lady on the head with a microphone," because it sounds terrible. It makes that huge
Yeah, it sounds much more
clunking
painful.
noise.
Todd's the best.
Oh, I love Todd Glass. He cannot not be himself.
We spoke.
He is just pure Todd Glass.
In the previous
all the time.
podcast, the first time Barry Katz met Todd Glass, he was dressed as a police officer going out on a Saturday night. And Barry goes, "I didn't know you were a police officer." He goes, "I'm not really a police officer, Barry. I like to just, drive around, pull people over, and question them,
Like Bad Lieutenant?
Yeah, exactly.
He used to do drive-alongs a lot. Like he'd ride with cops a lot.
And I thought Todd was gay for a long time because all he wanted to do was play dress up. He would always dress up like his cops and stuff.
As lady cops
likes
or
cops.
as just as cops?
He was lady cop.
So that's like the heater or whatever that keeps making that knocking noise?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We have a hot water heater in the studio.
It's not only
here.
a knocking noise, it's that knocking noise of someone's like, I need to get in here. Knock, 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 knock.
and there's something a little
I have diarrhea. Knock, 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 knock.
phlegmy about the sound, too.
Yeah.
It's a
What'd you
bizarre
say?
note. Phlegmy?
Yeah, well then it gurgles at the end
Yeah,
like a something out of Willy Wonka.
Why were you an extra on a Captain Neo video?
Because he's lucky.
Because my buddy was playing the one-legged robot, Major Domo. Yeah, that was a friend of mine. His name is Gary Depew, and he's one leg. He's amputated at the knee, so he could wear that suit with the. This was before special effects. Now it'd be so easy to just take the leg out.
Gary Sinise and
He's the original Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, or what's his name, Kenneth Branagh with no legs in Wild Wild West.
Did you ever play wheelbarrow with him and realize there's nothing in your right hand?
No, but when we went to the water park with him,
I laughed at my own joke like an asshole.
when we went to the water park with him, we had to take turns carrying his leg down the stairs so he could go on the slide because the leg couldn't go with him. He's a really nice prosthetic leg,
Oh, okay.
And it was pretty heavy,
Oh, okay.
So we'd go up to the top of the stairs with him, and then he'd take it off to go down the slide, and we'd take his leg back down to him.
But was the leg, he couldn't use it because it would scratch the tube or something?
Well, I mean, it's a big clunky item to be going down a water slide.
He's an OG.
Yeah, this is
This was years ago.
But he had a
Captain
stilt?
EO was in the 40s.
Well, yeah. I don't think it was a talkie, was it?
So yeah, there was some talking. The honing beacon, we ran right into it. That's one of Michael Jackson's lines that drives me crazy because I've seen it a million times. Because every time I'm there at Disneyland with friends, it's like, let's go watch Captain EO. And
it's not there now.
What do you mean it's not? They brought it back when Michael died.
But it was gone for
when he died, they brought it back. When there was allegations hovering, as soon as he was dead, he was a saint again.
Decade MIA.
Yeah.
It used to really tick me off because I would see it 3 times a visit.
No, now it's back and it's called Tribute Captain EO, and there's nothing different about it, but they have the word tribute on the sign. It's a tribute to that thing that's not why not put tribute to Star Tours or tribute to
tribute to Small
tribute
World.
to Matterhorn,
California Adventure.
Yeah, tribute everything.
So you had a friend with one
California
leg.
Adventure is a great amusement park. If you're in California and want to see things in California, you can go there.
Like a fake painted background.
If you want to see small fake painted versions of things in California.
I love California.
Is that the dumbest theme in the world?
No.
It's not.
You're
No.
wrong.
The theme is the state that it's in.
It's a very poor theme. But that flying ride is fantastic.
I thought
Soaring over California is amazing.
that's what it was.
With the scented oranges.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, that makes me happy.
I thought California Land, that's what that was. Was that ride?
Oh, no.
No, there's a whole bunch of rides.
I didn't even know
there's
the
a
park
roller
existed.
coaster and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, with all the fake redwoods and whatnot.
I don't even remember. I just remember flying over California.
It's neat. That ride is good.
I think I'm really flying.
That's me the whole time. I'm a stoned idiot on the ski lift that they put you in. And when you go over the ocean by Malibu, they get really close to the water, and I lifted up my legs, and I look at her, I go, I just lifted up my legs because I thought I was really flying.
I
and
thought
she goes,
my toes were going to get wet.
There might be kingfish.
But she's like, she's like, that's kind of the gig that you think you're flying. It'd be horribly lost.
Yeah.
Boring.
And when you go over the orange groves, they spray orange smell at you.
You're right.
You had a
Run
friend
with
with
Sarah.
one leg. This is more important.
Yes.
And that speaks volumes.
What's most important is that he was a star of Captain EO.
I disagree.
A high school friend, a bunch of us had moved to L.A. He became...
From San Diego.
He became... The reason he got picked to play the robot is because he was Michael Jackson's assistant for a long time.
One-legged talent search.
Yeah. He was Michael Jackson's, he ran his production company for a while.
It seems like you would not be very effective as an assistant with one leg.
Why? You can answer phones. He has two
He's got a
hands.
prosthesis.
But if you got to run errands, you got to drag that shit out.
You don't have to physically run the errands. You can walk to places.
Drive cars.
But also I worked as a PA for them for a while.
Really?
So so sometimes I'd have to deliver shit out to the house out in the valley, the Havenhurst house.
Thank you.
And I never really met him, but on the set of Captain EO, he had at that point a little friend named, I think it was Jonathan, who, in between takes, the kid would just sit in his lap and they just whisper to each other and giggle.
Did he have progeria?
Non-stop.
He was a dying kid, obviously.
Maybe, yeah. It might have been dying.
Did you ever see Cat Williams?
I mean, whoever he was, Michael was great to that kid.
Right.
My argument is just that where is that kid's parents? Yeah.
I mean,
I'm great to her for the same reason.
What a bizarre dynamic it was.
Yeah. Because he loves children. But I really don't think he ever meant to harm any kids. I just think he just doesn't.
Do you think he meant to ejaculate on them or near them?
I don't know. I guess because if let's say you're an adult,
showing love in a grown-up way.
Yeah.
And
misunderstanding that the children shouldn't have to deal with the grown-up stuff.
This is how grown-ups show they love each other.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did make that. He did sort of, to me, the thing that really put him, to me, should have put him, behind bars was when he said, there's no greater gift that you can give someone than sharing your bed with them. Because that's just not how society works. You don't.
But see, I had a problem.
You don't have other people's kids come over and let's share a bed.
I agree with that, but I had a problem with the outrage people showed, the faux outrage. Man, you never share your bed with a child unless it's your own child. And I thought to myself, at that moment, there was one of our dear friends lived across the street, and he had
neighbor
2 daughters.
Kid or something.
And
sure.
I was like, I could name a half dozen kids and vice versa, where I would let my son
had children.
go to their house.
But generally, they're not strangers.
If I was at your house and my 8-year-old was at the house, I go, all right, you sleep in Doug's bed. And
but you're not cherry picking them, though. You're not casting children to be in the bed with you.
They're Make-A-Wish Foundation.
They're in your world.
I'm not going through the Make-A-Wish.
It wasn't Janet's. It wasn't Janet or Reeby's kids. No. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, why not? Why didn't he just hang out with the kids? He's got a giant family.
He was going through the Make-A-Wish Foundation pamphlets going, who's this one?
Not so hot.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Did you see Cat Williams?
Not so good looking, yeah.
Did you see Cat Williams?
No.
Yes.
Say no before whatever it is.
I
think I saw First Sunday. That movie's kind of funny.
He went, yeah. Cat Williams fucking annihilated Michael Jackson. He's the only comic. This when he was alive. And he was saying, man, fuck Michael, you nasty motherfucker. Going on and on and on. And the audience got super uncomfortable. And it was an all-black audience. And they fucking froze up. And he goes, I got children. And you're walking around going, don't you like to climb trees? No, nigga, I don't like to climb. I'm a fucking grown-up. And then the thing he said in the special that was mind-blowing was, he goes, think about all the kids Michael was with. Kids with cancer, kids that are dying, retarded kids, kids with no legs, motherfuckers with progeria, you nasty mother. And we know somebody that was Michael's bodyguard for a very, very, very long time. And the thing with Mike, allegedly, was that he like you said, he cherry-picked kids that wouldn't be around to tell.
That's horrifying.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
Both.
No, I'm kidding.
Most things are.
It's
I'm kidding about thinking it was funny.
But yeah, that is.
But when you said about
that
the
makes
kid
sense.
When you said about the kid on his lap, did the kid look like he wasn't long? Was he at death's door, Doug Benson?
He seems kind of skinny, but I never got the impression. He's young enough to just be a skinny kid. I never got the impression that it was a sick kid.
But he was clear-eyed and
it just seemed to be his current friend. It was like the new. He replaced Bubbles with this kid, and and then
you know what happened to Bubbles?
Huh.
Mike used to slap the shit out of Bubbles. Mike abused Bubbles. Do you know this?
I'm sure he did. Those things.
And he tried to put shoes, Keds and Converse and shit on Bubbles, and Bubbles would grab Mike, clothes. And Mike, not knowing how to fight anybody, took all that shit out on Bubbles, and he would fucking punch Bubbles and quit it. And he would punch Bubbles in the face. This is all true by the guy that fucking stood there and saw all of this, who I will have on this podcast one day. and I won't
That'll
say
be
his
a
name.
fun episode.
I won't say his name until he agrees to come on. And he was Mike's guy. And Mike used to slap the shit out of Bubbles. And then Bubbles one day, and he used to say, Mike, you better stop fucking with that ape. That's how funny.
Because they get older and they get strong and mean.
Yes, but he was strong and mean then. He just didn't know he had the ability to strike back. So one day Bubbles just fucking grabs Mike by the collar like he's shaking the shit out of Mike. And then Bubbles was at Neverland Ranch for the rest of his life.
They put him in the zoo there,
Yeah. And they would bring the Make-A-Wish Foundation kids in, where Mike would look out his fucking window and go, I like that one. Like, he would fucking cherry pick these kids, allegedly, but not for real. And then Bubbles, check this out. Bubbles was so fucking smart and awesome. He would wait until the kids got super close for photos, and then he would fucking rub shit on the back of their heads when they were next to his cage.
Have you seen apes when they do that real like slow? They look in the eye and they scat in their hand, but they like try to do it real slick.
But so how badass is that?
They kind of look at you smiling while they do it.
And the guy explains it, the bodyguard who's a cop, he would explain it like, when you see a motherfucker in jail with his arm up on the window all swole, like, and he does an impression of Bubbles like sitting like kind of flexing a little bit. And the kids are like, oh my God, like that. And the tour guide would go, that's Bubbles. And these kids, like these bald, like dying, sick children would allow themselves to be in sunlight for 14 seconds to get a photo 18 inches from Bubbles, and Bubbles would just take shit and just fucking wipe it on their bodies. And then as they walked away, just throw it at him like, and stay the fuck out. Michael's an asshole.
Bubbles became a bitter, bitter man.
But to answer your question, I didn't think Super Jaime would be as popular as it turned out to be. I just sort of did it, and then it sort of caught on with people, including you. I got a very nice message from Jay. I'll never forget this. I was in Kansas City, working the Improv there. It's probably about 2.5 years ago now. And
no more. We were in another house.
Yeah, I was probably three and a half. Yeah. And you tracked down my number because we didn't have each other's numbers, but we see each other. We've seen each other over the years.
Because of her, you got to. I'm serious. You have to get in touch with her.
Yeah. Well, you left me the longest message. I think that phone probably died, so I don't have it anymore. But I actually saved it because it was just this message gushing about the movie and how you and Nikki both loved it. And
nuts.
Yeah, and you got to come over to the house and all that kind of stuff. And of course, as these things work out, this is the first time I've come over to the house.
That's fine. But
we've. We're mending the fences.
I wanted to know one thing about that movie, and you already answered it, but for the listeners, Doug Benson, of course, is our guest. On 102.7 WNEW.
We'll be back with more Doug Benson.
Playing hits of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, and beyond. You took your SATs straight, and you're exceptionally smart, and that impressed me. You're a fucking smarty pants guy. What did you get sober on your SATs in the movie Super Jaime?
What's the maximum you can get?
No, you didn't get 1,600.
No, I mean, like, how does it break down? It's between...
800.
Language and math.
But combined, do you remember what you got?
No, because...
It's your movie, Doug.
But the math I did terribly. Maybe, like, half the possible points or something.
But you got over 1,000 on your SATs.
But on the language part, I did all right.
And then you got baked at... Like, how high were you?
Well, this was also like a month later,
right?
And they give you a different test. It's they switch those things up.
But if you could put into perspective for listeners, how high you were?
Just as high as I could get. Like if you woke up in the morning and thought to yourself, I have to be high until I go to sleep tonight. How would you do it? So they had
probably
at each meal I had some sort of
copious amounts and partaking of weed laced.
Yeah, at each meal I'd have medicated Cocoa Krispies.
Fucking crushed high.
I just try to stay high. Knowing
it wasn't like you did a one hitter
and
went
to be high. Never just one hit. No.
Yeah.
That's not for me in general. I just really like if I'm standing in a circle smoking with people, I'm rarely the one that breaks it up. I'll keep smoking until it stops.
Until somebody goes, hey.
Because I like the ritual, and I can just continually smoke. I don't have to, I never get like, I better not have another hit.
That's how I am all the time.
Every once in a while, but that's like if I'm on a really strong edible or something.
So you were really fucking high, and you took your SATs again, and your score went up by how much?
The math was exactly the same number, which I was very proud of. Because at least it didn't go down.
Wow.
And then the English part, I think I got like 50 more points or something and went up a little bit.
But for people listening, you gotta understand, like, it was in the 1100s. if memory serves.
I don't think your memory serves.
I am positive that it was well over 1,000.
It wasn't like I wouldn't get into a college off of this.
Yes, you would.
The math